and I'll be letting you know about a few important things regarding AFB. When we talk about the accounting and finance for bankers, this particular topic has got a good amount of numericals. We have got the areas of banking and terms of accounting and finance. So there are banking operations that is there in a separate module, then accounting in a different module, then we have finance as well. So it's basically a club of multiple important areas to be covered for the examination. So let's move on and understand this topic properly, so that if you want to crack it in a good way, then what are the basic things that you need to keep in mind. So let's quickly move on. And if you find this channel helpful for you, kindly go ahead and subscribe our channel. Okay, so we'll be talking about accounting and finance for bankers today. So today we'll be talking about what comes in the module A, what is it that we need to keep in mind when we talk about module B, module C, as well as module D. Certain modules are something which are basically helpful for you because, for example, module D is something that deals with your area of working. That means in module D, whatever you do, it will help you out. But when it comes to module A, B and C, it requires a different set of knowledge. Along with that, there are numericals. We need to know how many 2-marker questions can be seen from that module, how many half-marker questions can be seen. So that is something which we have to look forward to, right? So let's move on and understand this topic properly. Okay, so when we talk about the syllabus for AFB, how do we look forward to it? Number one, we have the module A. The module A is basically linked with business, mathematics and finance. When we talk about the syllabus, what we normally do is, if we are starting with the syllabus, so why not we start with that particular serial order, right? What happens is that everybody thinks that way. If there's a proper chapter number 1, 2, 3, then why don't I go according to this? What if I tell you shouldn't go for the module A in the very beginning? Because there are many things in terms of module A which are not only related to the business mathematics but to the area of finance. But in order to understand finance, you need to understand the basic terminologies, right? If you don't have the knowledge of that basic terminology, how will you crack the exam altogether? So to crack that particular examination, one thing is required, that is the base. So if you want to have a stronger foundation, then what you need to do is you should keep this one for a later time rather than the beginning, right? So when we talk about this, the next point that comes is what should be the starting point when we are starting with AFB, right? That would be principles and principles of bookkeeping and accountancy. That means your module B. Whenever you are thinking to go for JAIIB examination, you should always start your AFB with the principles of bookkeeping and accountancy. Reason is, first thing that you need to understand what is exactly bookkeeping and how does bookkeeping leads to accountancy. So all these areas would be covered in a proper way in the module B. So when we talk about the module B, it has to be covered in such a way that you have given good amount of time to your basic foundation. Once you are done with this, then along with this you can also go for module C, because both of these topics are connected, right? Module 1 is a separate one. It's an advanced level of accountancy, that is in terms of finance, while the module B and module C, both of these modules basically relate to the area of bookkeeping and accountancy, and the second one would be related to the area of final accounts. Now comes, what is that particular area which is advantageous for the bankers? Again, we all think about that, right? So if we look forward to what is basically the area which will be something which relates to your day-to-day working, which is something that you will be obviously knowing about till that, because you are regularly working in that area. Now, right now you go to the bank and then you have you know about the officially verified documents, valid documents when we talk about OVDs. Then regarding OVDs, or when we talk about the cash credits, the different kinds of deposits, then we know about all the banking operations, right? Because you go through all those things on a regular basis. So this is the area which requires lesser effort from the point of view of a banker as compared to the first three. So if you start your preparation when you are starting with module B, it is for the accountancy area to understand the topic properly, and along with this followed by the second, that would be final accounts. Third, that would be the mathematics and finance. So that's how you can look forward to it. But the point that arises is, when should we have this particular module D? This is something which you should go whenever you feel too tired to study all the technical areas. This is something where you can definitely go ahead and study in a relaxed manner. This will help you to gain good amount of marks. Again, this module is also something where you have 2 marker questions, you have 1 marker questions. So then where if you talk about the module D, you will be still able to score a good number in terms of marks. So 20 to 25 marks can be expected from the module D. Module A plays a very, very important role, and there are so many other questions from other areas. So let's talk about that. Number 1. This is what I was telling you. How should you start your preparation, right? So the first thing is to start with the module B. If we talk about module B, start with the principles of bookkeeping and accountancy. Start what is exactly accounting, how do we deal with it, the accounting cycle altogether, recording of the transactions, then ultimate, that is preparation of the final accounts. When we talk about this area, that is bookkeeping, principles of bookkeeping and accountancy, we have specific chapters which are really important. For example, when we talk about the BRS, bills of exchange, right, and the remaining accounting cycle, that is something, there are small terms in that particular concept, like in terms of journal, in terms of ledger, in terms of trial balance, then all these areas, then accounting standards are also there. So there are so many things which are to be covered in module B, and those terminologies which you will be learning there, you will be able to crack more questions from these 2 areas just on the basis of foundation that you will be dealing with. Let's talk about it. The number of questions that you will find from the bookkeeping and accountancy area, each question would normally carry half marks. So this particular module B will have more half marker questions, right? Then in terms of the final accounts, it is again an important area. We have the area of share capital. We have the area of the ratio analysis. This is a very important topic. When I say this is an area where they get good amount of questions, and ratio analysis is something where you need to learn a good amount of formulas. What are the applications of those formulas, where what are the basic areas to be covered. This basically question would come in 2 marker questions. So that is important for you. So in terms of the module B, we have bills, BRS and bills of exchange, where you will find more of the questions related to the 2 marker questions can also rise. 1 marker and half marker is always there. So these are good areas to be covered. While in terms of this, there's one more area, that is capital and revenue expenditure, right? What's the difference between the 2? That is also there. In terms of the final accounts, the questions can be both numerical as well as a theoretical area. The numerical questions would definitely be more of the area of ratio analysis. Then when we talk about the business of mathematics and finance, this particular module A carries normally the 2 marker questions. That means there would be around 15 2 marker questions. So then when we talk about the module A, it plays a very important role. A big chunk of 2 marker questions is definitely from the module A, but it doesn't happen like that. That module A will not have questions in the other areas as well. But the major chunk is definitely from this area. We have YTM here, right? It is yield to maturity. We covered it in our classes in a very good way. Bond valuation is there. Then we have the area of interest and annuities, that is compound interest and simple interest is there. Then we have the area of depreciation. This is again a topic where you will find this particular topic in module A in such a way that this is 2 marker questions can also arise from the area of these areas. Depreciation can be there, and again module D contains all the information regarding the bank in terms of banking operations, what happens when you're depositing the cash, how do we look forward to the various kind of deposits, and the various guidelines that have been issued. So there you have to cover it in such a way. This is something which would be more or less refreshing for you from these technical areas to be covered, right? So then when we look forward to this area, this should be a refreshing one. When you are advancing from this particular topic to the next one, see, the point is, I always suggest you, first of all, finish the module B and slowly move towards module C. Everything that you will be learning in module B, it would be helpful in module C. But from module C to module D, if you feel tired or if you feel that the transition is getting a little difficult, then you can definitely move towards module D accordingly, and along with that start with with module A? Because module D is not heavier for you, but module A would definitely be a heavier one. Along with that, module B would be, because once you start with the particular thing, that takes a little toll of you. But once you start with it, you get into the flow, then there's no issue. So that's what I can tell you about it. Then in terms of the marking scheme, what happens? We have around half marker questions, which are 70 questions would be there. It is basically a half marker question that would be around from module B as well as C in terms of final accounts, capital expenditure, then in terms of capital and revenue expenditure, then we have the area of ratio analysis, and we have bills of exchange, then we have the area of BRS, bank reconciliation statements, then rectification of errors. So all those areas are basically covered, and you should cover it properly, because module B and C is definitely going to give you a good chunk of marks, right? So other than that, what happens is there would be around 15 questions. That would be a 2-marker question, where you have questions from A, C and D ideally, right? So more of the 15-marker questions are from A, C as well as D. In terms of A, there are, you know about that, there's a big chunk of YTM, depreciation is there, then interest and annuities is there, capital budgeting, that is all there in terms of this area, right? So then we have module A in such a way, it requires more time. So again, there would be 2-marker questions from this area. Along with that, from C, you'll have share capital, even ratio analysis is more important. I'll say this one is more important, right? So when we talk about this area, this would be a bigger chunk to be covered for this particular examination. Along with that, from D, you have all those guidelines which are there, and the limits that the steps that are required in terms of the banking operations, that would be there in module D. So there are questions which would be from module D, and along with that, there would be 1-marker questions as well. 1-marker questions are ideally from C as well as D module. So now you know about all the modules, which particular module has a greater weightage as compared to the other ones. Again, with every paper coming up, the variety of questions that they are putting and the balanced paper that they're putting it from every nook and corner, from every topic, they're putting questions into the paper. So there you have to be very balanced so that you are able to score more than 52. You shouldn't be like just the passing marks should be scored by me. That is the aim. That particular aim would be very difficult for you. It is always better you have a higher attempt for yourself, so it becomes easier for you to give a better output, right? So that's about the marking scheme. I hope it's clear. Now let's move on and talk about the module A. Okay, in our classes we are covering up all these topics in the live classes, the batches which are going on in the morning, we have batches in the evening going on. We are covering it in such a way that you are able to cover it from the point of view of MCQs, from the area of the concepts, and in such a way that you know exactly how to deal with these concepts in the examination, right? So that is what I was telling you. From the module A, we have all these important topics. First is capital budgeting. Whenever you talk about these topics are more or less practical rather than theory. So if you're ever looking forward to these topics, you need a little guidance if you are not someone who's from the finance area, number one. And secondly, when you do all these things, when you are looking forward to these topics, you have to be very vigilant, because this particular topic is basically a numerical based area. More in terms of the practicality if we talk about, it is more or less something where you have more numerical to learn from. The conceptual part is basically more practical. Then we have the area of YTM, yield to maturity, again a very important topic for the examination, bond valuation, and then the values of those bonds, intrinsic bonds. That is something very important that can be asked from the numerical point of view, even from the calculation of interest as well as annuities is there. Then in terms of how do we calculate the value of an EMI, so all those questions are definitely there in terms of the module A. Then we have the depreciation and its accounting. There are certain methods of depreciation which are stated, and how do we look forward to all those methods is something that you need to look forward to. Then we have the forex, we have the chain rule here, conversion is also there, and what is bid rate and ask rate. All these things are there in this topic. So when we talk about the module A, if you haven't gone through the area of accounting altogether, I would suggest that you deal with this particular topic after finishing off your B and C, because this particular module again is very, very important, and at the same time it is too technical to look forward directly. You shouldn't really do that. Then this is what the areas that you will be covering in terms of module A. Again, a very, very important area to cover. Now, when we talk about the area of module B, there are certain areas where I talk about the major chunk of the questions can be from the basic accounting procedures. That means the basic accounting cycle, which starts from recording the transactions, then classifying them, then summarizing them, and then communicating them to the ultimate users. So that is something that we need to look forward to. Again, a very important area to be covered. And even BRS and bills of exchange are also there. These two areas are something that you will find more questions would be there from these two areas, especially in terms of 1-marker questions. So we can expect that these two are very important. Then the other areas, sub-C books and the accounting standards and the cash book there. So these particular areas can definitely be asked, but I will say they're more from the half-marker questions. But again, when we talk about these two, they're very, very important. And half-marker question chunk is definitely asked from the basic accounting procedures. So that's something that you need to look very carefully, and it is scoring even, easy, and at the same time scoring even. Half-marker question, when we go towards the volume of questions that you will find from the module B, it's good amount of questions. But again, in terms of marking scheme, I doubt, because again, it's a half-marker question, right? So it's about the module B. Now moving on towards the module C. When we talk about the module C, again, a very interesting area to be covered. At the same time, more towards the practical side. So once you do with the B, the module B seems to be fluent, easygoing, and at the same time less technicalities are there. When we move towards module C, the technicalities somehow increases. Then we have the balance sheet equation. Again, a half-marker question can be there. Then we have the area of ratio analysis there. 2-marker questions are definitely expected from this area. Final accounts of the companies as well as the accounting in a computerized environment. So I think I'll go with these two areas to be covered for a 2-marker question. While when we talk about the balance sheet and the accounting environment, there can be 1.5 half-marker question or 1-marker question could be asked from module C as well as module from the module C. These two areas, that is accounting in the computerized environment as well as the balance sheet. So even balance sheet equation can be taken up in terms of 1-marker questions. So again, in terms of module C, the 2-3 areas which are extremely important are ratio analysis, final accounts of the banking as well as the company accounts. These all 3 topics are important. Company accounts in 1 and 2. Okay. Now here we have the share capital, we have the forfeiture, we have the share reissue. These 2-3 topics are extremely important and again asked in 2-marker as well as in terms of 1-marker questions. Okay. Now moving on to the module D. When we talk about the module D, what else we can look forward to it in terms of the module D, that is your advantages area, that is basically a niche of a banker, right? So there you have the area of preparation of the vouchers, we have the area of cash receipts, then clearing inwards and outwards. More of this area is basically a chunk of this area is from 1-marker questions can be seen from the module D. We can expect at least 15 to 20 to 25 questions can be their varied area, but again 20 to 25 questions, 25 to 25 marks can be covered from this particular module if you take it up in a proper and in a smart manner, because again we have so many guidelines, so there would be many guidelines which are basically known to you already. So all those guidelines which are new to you or you haven't learned them, then what you can do is make your quick notes so that you don't find a trouble there. I can suggest you a few things that, for example, in terms of ratio analysis, it's a big chapter, at the same time a chapter which is very important as well. So make your own handwritten notes or then go through those notes time and again, because these formulas, there are good number of formulas and good amount of formulas requires good amount of practice. So it will help you if you have compiled the entire noting area in one particular area, and then you're able to go through it, right? That's about the module A, B and C. And then we talk about the module D. We have also the KYC, what kind of OVDs are required, what are the accepting areas, and how do we, what is basically a small account, and all those basic areas where we talk about the current account and the difference between the saving accounts, term deposits. So all those areas, what is the verification, how do we define the area of back office and the operations which are there, and handling of the unreconciled entries in the banks, how do we deal with all these areas. Again, this is there in the Macmillan book and given in a very simpler manner. So that is something that can help you when we look forward to the module D there, right? Okay, so when we talk about this was the entire briefing of the AFB area. How do we cover it? There are certain topics where you can fetch more marks from those topics, then and the remaining topics can be dealt in a proper way, but these few important topics require a little more practice, but they are yet very scoring. So that is how we need to be very vigilant towards the fact that what particular topics require more efforts and which particular topic can be done in an average way, because again there's no negative marking at this point of time though, so we still can score in a better way, right? So if you find this video helpful for you, then kindly go ahead and subscribe our channel, and at the same time we are coming up with a batch. See, this is the point. We're coming up with a batch for JAIIB complete selection batches there. That is for APPB, AFB and LRB. That would be starting from 12th of September. And again, another batch is coming up for the bilingual. This would be the English batch. The English batch would be coming from this particular time of 12th of September, while the bilingual batch is starting first. That would be starting from 5th of September. So this would be the bilingual batch. For the bilingual batch, we have PPB, AFB and LRB. The timing would be 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. depending upon the study time. You can look forward towards the planner. And for this area, that is for the JAIIB, English medium would be starting from 12th of September, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. So if you're looking forward to the batches, what you can do is you can use the code Y541 to avail the discount. At this point of time, the offers are going on, so let's look forward to that. Let me show it to you. All you need to do is kindly go towards our website and type Adda 24/7. So as soon as you'll reach onto our website, or it's better to go towards the app, because there you get extra discounts as well. And so what you need to do is go on to the area of JAIIB and CAIIB classes. So once you click on this is the November-December batch. The batches are starting for both. English medium is starting from 12th of September, while the bilingual batch, in the bilingual batch, we'll be covering the content with the with English based content, but will be taught in both Hindi as well as English. So the notes would be English based, but again it would be taught in a way which is both English as well as Hindi would be used there. So if you're comfortable with both there, Hindi and English, so you can definitely go towards the bilingual. Otherwise, there's a complete English medium batch for you as well. So what you can do is, all you need to do is just click on this area, and here you'll find the course highlights are there. So all the study plans have already been given to you. What are the timings for each and every faculty, that would be also defined. And what you need to do is, okay, so after the information regarding the faculty, all you can do is click on the area of buy now and use the coupon code Y541 and then apply it, and there you can get 77% off, and you can look forward to it. So it was around 15,999. After discount of 77%, it would be 3679.77. From the app, it would be again it would be around 100 rupees lesser. Then again 78% discount would be there on the app, and this is for the area of English medium batch. So if anybody is looking forward towards the bilingual batch, then what you can do is, the bilingual batch would be starting this one's the English medium one, and this is for the English medium one. Let's look forward. And this is for JAIIB November bilingual. There are details regarding the JAIIB bilingual. For the bilingual batch, the timings are again stated, so you can look forward to whatever time suits you. In our classes, we are covering the entire content. We are also helping you in terms of the MCQs, and we are giving the details of all the concepts in a proper way, so that you are able to understand it according to the examination point of view. So even the tricks are basically told to you how to solve the questions in a quicker manner. So all these the teachers are taking up, the faculty has already been defined for you, and this is the timing. Either it's at 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., then 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. All the timings have been stated here for the classes there, right? So they're already given to you. All you need to do is, again, the process remains the same. You have to go towards this area, click on the area of buy now, and you can use the code Y541. and avail a discount of 77%. So whatever you feel is better for you, either it's English medium or the area of bilingual batch, you can take up and look forward to your preparation of AFB, because again this would be probably the last attempt as per the old syllabus. Then the new syllabus would be coming up for the next year. So a focused learning and clearing it in the first attempt, or this particular attempt only, that is the aim that you should keep. And so keep on learning and keep on growing. So in the upcoming classes, we are also taking up the YouTube batches at this point of time. You can review our classes, practice daily, because again consistency is the key, right? So keep on going through the classes, and the batches are live. If in case you are not able to go through the classes, then you can also look forward towards these classes on the recorded ones, because there are certain topics, if you are new to all these things, you might require to look forward to that particular thing again, right? So the recorded batch would be also there. The test series is there for your practice. For all the details, what you can do is check out the batch. There you will get all the details regarding the timings, regarding the study plans, when the batches are about to start, and all the further details. So keep checking it for the further details. And the batch is officially starting from September 5th for bilingual, and for the area of the other area in terms of English medium, they'll start from 12th of September. The upcoming batches have already been started. So the upcoming batches would be released soon as on that particular date. So stay tuned and keep learning. Thank you.